Photoelectric effect was discovered by Heinrich Hertz in 1887. You might remember that Hertz was a person who by experiments first showed that electromagnetic waves can actually be generated in the laboratory. Now Hertz was doing his discharge experiments and found that a spark from one plate generated a secondary spark on the second plate. This led to a lot of careful experiments, and Hertz finally concluded that the secondary sparks were really produced by light flashes near the first plate. In the following year, Wilhelm Hallward showed that irradiation with ultraviolet light causes uncharged metallic bodies to acquire a positive charge. It seemed as if light was causing metal plates to lose negative charge. No progress was made during the next few years until J.J. Thomson in England discovered the electron in 1897. 3 years later, Thomson was able to explain Hallward's observation. He said that the plate was becoming positively charged because it was emitting electrons when light fell on it. The next major discovery was by Lenard in 1902. He varied the intensity of the light to very high intensity, that is 1000 times the original intensity, and found that all the emitted electrons had the same energy. During the experiment, he kept the frequency fixed. This was most puzzling, as people thought that if the metal plate was illuminated with very intense light source, then the electron should be kicked out of it with much greater energy. Einstein solved the mystery in 1905. What is photoelectric effect? The process of instantaneous emission of electrons from a metal surface when it is illuminated by light of suitable frequency is called photoelectric effect. For alkali metals, photoelectric emission occurs even under the action of visible light, while zinc, cadmium, etc. are sensitive only to ultraviolet light. Now, let us discuss the experiment of Lenard in detail. Light from a monochromatic source is allowed to fall on the metallic plate. So, it is absorbed by the metallic plate and electrons will get emitted from the surface. These electrons are collected by the collector electrode, and which will give a current in the external circuit. But if we increase the negative potential of the collector electrode, then the photoelectrons will get repelled, and this repulsion will goes on increasing, and finally a stage will be reached when the reverse potential will balance the kinetic energy of the electron, and there onwards no external current will flow through the circuit. The figure shown here is the result of a photoelectric experiment in which the light intensity is kept constant. The experiment is repeated for various frequencies. It is found that the frequency of the incident radiation has a direct dependence on the kinetic energy or velocity of the ejected photoelectrons. This is clear from the increasing stopping potential with increase in frequency. If the same experiment is repeated at different light intensities, the photoelectric current increases. In this experiment part, the frequency is kept constant, but the stopping potential at all the intensities are the same. So one had to conclude that the energy of the photoelectron depends only on the frequency and not on the intensity. Now let us discuss the experiment in detail. For every metal, we can find a particular minimum frequency below which there is no photoelectric emission. And this particular frequency is called threshold frequency, and the corresponding energy is called work function of the metal. The work function of certain metals are given here. For potassium, it is 2.2 electron volt. For sodium, it is 2.3 electron volt. It can be converted to energy by using the equation wavelength is equal to 1240 by work function in electron volt, and the result of this particular equation will be obtained in nanometer. The second inference is that the kinetic energy of the emitted photoelectrons depends only on the frequency of the incident light and the nature of the metal. That is, it does not depend upon the intensity of the light. The strength of the photoelectric current is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light if the frequency is greater than the threshold frequency. If you increase the intensity, the number of photoelectrons emitted in unit time will increase. This will result in an increase in the photoelectric current, but it will not increase the energy of the photoelectrons. Another important point is that photoelectric emission is an instantaneous process. Even if there is a time lag, it will be less than 10 raised to minus 9 seconds. Now let us discuss the limitation of classical theory in explaining the photoelectric effect. So let us consider a rectangular piece of sodium as shown in the figure. Here light is incident from the top, and let us assume that all the energy is absorbed by the atoms at the top. But according to classical theory, energy is distributed in wavefronts. If an energy starts at this point, then it will be spread uniformly along a circular path or a spherical wavefront. If an energy of 1 joule starts here, the energy reaching at a point at a distance r from the source is only 1 joule by 4 pi r square, where 4 pi r square is the area of the sphere under consideration. It is experimentally observed that a detectable photoelectric current is observed when a power 10 raised to minus 6 watt per meter square is incident on the metal surface. As a calculation, if this energy is absorbed by 1 atom thick layer of sodium atom, then it is found that 1 meter square area contains about 10 raised to 19 atoms. So we have an energy, we have a power of 10 raised to minus 6 watt per meter square, and it is shared by 10 raised to 19 atoms. Each atom receives only 10 raised to minus 25 watt. If energy is absorbed by atoms at this rate, it will require minimum month to dislodge an electron from a metal surface. This is one of the limitations of classical theory. But it is found that photoelectric effect is an instantaneous process. According to classical prediction, energy is related to intensity. If you increase the intensity, the photoelectron should increase its energy or velocity. But in actual case, this is not true. It is found that if you increase the intensity, the number of photoelectrons will increase, but the electron energy will remain the same. At a particular intensity, it is found that the energy of the emitted photoelectrons is greater when higher frequencies are employed. This is not predicted by the classical theory as well. The next thing is that the photoelectric effect is an instantaneous process. A successful explanation for the photoelectric effect was given by Albert Einstein in 1905. He was inspired by the quantum concept introduced by Max Planck. Max Planck in 1900 said that the energy exchange between the electromagnetic radiation and harmonic oscillators in the walls of the black body are in quanta and directly proportional to the frequency. But Einstein was not at all interested in the harmonic oscillator problem. He said that he considered photons separately and said that energy was not only given to electromagnetic waves in separate quanta, but it was also carried by waves in separate quanta or photons. All photons of a particular frequency have same energy, that is E is equal to h nu. If you change the intensity of a monochromatic radiation, it will change only the number of photons, but not their energies, because energy is directly proportional to frequency. If you fix the frequency and change the intensity, it will only increase the photoelectric current, but it will not increase the energy of the photon or the photoelectron. The higher the frequency nu, the energy of the photon will be greater, and as a result, the photoelectrons will also get greater energy. Because electromagnetic wave energy is concentrated in photons and not spread out, there should be no delay in the emission of photoelectrons. These are the important statements given by Albert Einstein. His simple equation is this. H nu is the incident energy. It is used for two purposes. One, for removing an electron from the metal without velocity, and the remaining energy will be converted into its kinetic energy. So what is work function? Work function is the minimum energy required to remove an electron from a metal surface without any velocity. So it can be modified like this: h nu is equal to kinetic energy half mv square plus h nu 0, where h nu 0 is the work function, and we can rewrite it like this. And this has the form of a straight line equation: y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the slope and c is the y-intercept. If you plot kinetic energy against frequency, you will get a graph with slope h and y-intercept minus h by v0.